Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Can't relax. Original. I am not the same.
And welcome to the NFL show on the S.O.S podcast network. Sauter on Sports. I am Mark Sauter. This is Joe. Day late. What's this? Day late, buck short, or whatever. I don't know. But we're back. We're here. Time to talk a little week 3. Talk a little week 4 betting as well. Good to be here. Seahawks, Arizona tonight in Arizona. We'll talk a little bit about that. Spotify listeners, you'll just have to skip the couple minutes we talk about that. Obviously, that game's tonight, so that won't be up in time for the game. Also, my apologies. I've had issues with posting the Spotify, the podcast for the last couple weeks, but I think that I resolved that and we'll be back and ready to go for this week. But yeah, we're back a little late, but I'm messing up all my phrases today. Late's better than never or whatever it is. I don't know. But before we get into the week that was, the week that is, we will let you know 2 things. First of all, we are brought to you by First Round Collectibles. Right now with promo code SPORTS10, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50%, tons and tons of cards. And with our promo code SPORTS10, you get 10% off of regular priced and sales priced items. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Promo code SPORTS10 for 10% off your order. And as always, Total Apex Sports, Total Apex Media. Thank you for having us on board live on your Twitter account. Baseball playoffs, I keep saying they're around the corner. Now they're really around the corner. And not only are they around the corner, Joe, but our teams are. It's turned into a.
Guess who caught up?
It's turned into a. Now,
Dead
part
heat.
of me is like, you can like save it because the Blue Jays were supposed to suck this year, and we've been leading the division all summer, so I'm good. On the other hand, we've been leading the division all summer, so like to choke this away now is like the ultimate choke job. Even if you weren't supposed to have, honestly, to me, I know that they're still making it, but to me, if you've had a 3 to 5 game lead for the most of the summer, like from middle of July on, then it's a choke job. Well, even if you're gonna make it, it's still, to me. And the other thing is this, Joe. Blue Jays playoff history, and I was gonna say recent playoff history, but the only playoff history we've had since the early 90s has been recent. So there's no we have made it to 2 wildcard rounds in the last 3 years, and we have not won one game in that one in that stretch. We make it to the wild card every year and we suck. I know teams who get the bye oftentimes come out of the gates really slow come the divisional round. However, Jay's history would suggest let's just like get the bye and not deal with the wild card and just move through. So I don't know. To me, it's a choke job, but hey, and we're not there yet. We still got 5 games left before it's considered a choke job. 4 games left. So we'll see.
Valid. But I think the bigger choke job is the Tigers giving the division away to Cleveland, which again 4 games left, but that's a much bigger choke job than
I agree
the Blue
with
Jays,
you.
if that helps you any.
I agree with you. Well, my grandfather is a Tigers fan, and it's tough sledding. Tough sledding. Tough sledding. But so anyway, what was I even doing? The ad read for Total Apex Media. So baseball playoffs right around the corner. Check in with them. They got you covered. Basketball training camp starting to warm up. NHL. The season starts next week. I cannot wait. We are back. Finally, I saw a picture of the Rangers sheet before the preseason game tonight. That new 100-year logo looks crisp. You guys, like, I mean, who knows what the Rangers are going to be, but that just game clean sheet of ice. There's nothing like it. I cannot wait. Total Apex Media will have you covered in that department as well. And of course, the NFL season. So check out totalapexmedia.com. They got a health website, sports website. They talk betting, they talk fantasy, they talk gaming, they talk whatever it is, TV shows, pop culture. They cover it all. So go to totalapexmedia.com and check them out. All right, 7 minutes of just rambling. Before we get to the week that was and the week that will be, Joe, how we feeling on a Thursday, bro? Good to see you.
I'm pretty excited. We have what, by all accounts should be a good game tonight. So,
yeah,
shout out to the primetime schedule. Finally, putting out some bangers here in the
it's been good so
early
far.
weeks. It has been good so far.
Yeah.
Listen, we're only, we're heading into week 4 now. Pretty soon we're gonna start to see if some of their predictions for the early season is gonna pan out or not. And we'll know by how much we're dreading the primetime games moving forward. We're gonna have a better idea of how good the schedule makers are moving forward here coming soon.
Yeah, I haven't really done like a full look ahead to like Monday nights and Thursday nights or nothing like that, but actually let's just look no further than just this week. What was the Monday night game again? I completely forget. Monday. Oh, see, here we go. Jets Miami. That has all the making of a tire fire. And Cincinnati Denver. All right, so it was fun while it lasted.
Listen, that was supposed to be a banger. Like, how could we have foreseen that, Burrow was going to be out for like
That's true.
13 of the 17 weeks, we're knocking on wood. Hopefully they have something to play for week 14, week 15, who knows.
That
it was
true.
Supposed to be a banger.
Cincinnati Denver, that is true. Jets and Miami was never going to be a banger. I know they're in the division. They eventually have to play each other. But this drives me crazy. This 7-15, 8-15. Like,
yeah,
I don't like that overlap. Like, in this case, it's okay because like the first game's probably not going to be that great. So you can kind of watch the first hour and then move on with your night. But to not stagger them anyway. We only got so much time here. No sense complaining about something that doesn't matter. All right, last week in the NFL, lots of craziness to get to. Buffalo 31, Miami 21. Just even though I think Miami played better than we all thought they would, at least I thought they would. It always kind of felt like Buffalo was going to win that game. There's a couple teams. Then you got Carolina shutting out the Falcons, the Browns shocking the Packers, Jacksonville. I mean, they technically won that game, but neither of those teams really felt like winning on that day. Minnesota, Isaiah Rodgers just beating the Bengals all by himself. You got the Patriots losing 21-14 to the Steelers. And we get to the first game that I want to talk to you about. And I love it when this happens as an Eagles fan. But I also hate it when this happens because that game, 33-26, Philly over the Los Angeles Rams. It's a game that has to be talked about, and you can talk about it first, you can talk about it second, whatever order you want to do it. It's one of the games of the weekend that you just have to talk about. And as an Eagles fan, I'm happy that I can what's the term? Objectively pick this team as the first game to talk about. Because, if it was a bad game and here I am starting the show with the Eagles, that wouldn't look so great. An Eagles fan talking about a, 9-3 boring game. This game was anything but boring, although it kind of was boring because the Eagles were absolutely awful, getting out yarded 22 to like 38 or something, 222 to 38 in the first half. The Rams doing whatever they wanted. I said this last week that I thought the Rams, that was easily the closest game of the postseason for the Eagles, was that game against the Rams. I thought the Rams played them so well. Not only did they play well, the Eagles were awful. And not only do they win the game, they block 2 field goals. They cover the spread with the big guy. That 18 miles an hour, apparently he was running, which just seems ridiculous to me. But hey, what do I know? What were your takeaways from that game, man? Because to me, like, it was the quintessential Eagles game. And again, I speak as somebody who watches the sport, who covers the sport, and covers other sports as well. And I also speak as a fan of the team. It was everything that the Eagles represent. Just boring, unproductive choices that don't make sense. Frustrating. You have one of the deepest, if not the deepest roster in the NFL. You just looks stupid out there. But then also you realize, oh, nothing's working. Let's just feed Brown. Let's just feed Devontae Smith. Oh, like Barkley's not really running the ball that well. That's okay. We got this guy, this guy, this guy, and they just figure it out and they win the game. It was everything that the Eagles represent. They just frustrate their fans so much, and yet they also make their fans puff their chest because nobody can beat us. It's incredible. And I will end, obviously, I say that last part a little bit facetiously. I will say what you want about the Eagles, say what you want about Jalen Hurts. I know that was a big topic of conversation this summer, Herbert versus Hurts and all this stuff. They play the Bucs this week. They played the Bucs last year. I believe it was week 4. It was week 4 or week 5. It was around this time last year they played the Bucs and they lost. And that was the last time that the Eagles have lost a game that Jalen Hurts started and finished. Was the last time they played the Bucs at the beginning of the season last year. So 17 straight wins where Hurts has started and finished. And I know you're in the division. I know it pains you to say it. But after a game like that over the weekend, it's just impressive to watch this team play football. And frustrating, both if you're a fan and if you hate them. I think it's frustrating equally.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a bad beat, right? You're thinking the Rams the Rams should cover, right? Because I had them covering, and I was feeling pretty solid about it earlier in the game. But even being down 1, they're still gonna cover, right? And then here comes that trip down by Jordan Davis, and you're like, oh, come on, like what are we even talking about? Like why?
Like,
why is this happening right now? So I went 3-3 with those picks because of that. But yeah, I mean, listen, we saw this last year to a greater extent. The Philly fan base winning games, but winning it so unspectacularly that they wanting to fire Sirianni every week, and they just keep winning. Is it pretty? No, but the point is to win games, and they were winning games, and simultaneously while they're winning games, they're wanting to fire the head coach because he's got to be the problem. He's got to be the problem, right? So listen, Sirianni is one of those guys where we talk about this with the Dolphins head coach and how he kind of goes about the press conferences and how he just conducts his business. Is like he's the type of personality that when you're winning, you deal with it, right? When you're winning, you deal with it. But when you're losing, you want him gone. He's just the way he is as a personality. That's just how you feel about Sirianni, and it's just like I really do deeply feel that the fan base in their heart of hearts are just like, man, I wish he could win pretty, but at the same time, like, if he just keeps winning, like, can we argue with it? Can we argue about it? You know who's not arguing about it? Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper can give 2 Fs if they win ugly. He's an Eagle through and through. Okay, shout out Silver Linings Playbook, my favorite movie, where he plays a diehard Philly fan. But he doesn't care how they win. As long as they keep stacking W's, they're gonna keep celebrating. But I'm just convinced that that room, that building, they don't care how they have to win football games. They only care if they win football games. And I'm watching a team that even from the jump in that first game did not care that they won last season. It's a new year. The funny thing about we're turning the page, it's a new year. They're winning the same way they won last year. They're winning the same way they won last year. Not pretty. Not pretty, and feeding Barkley. And you know what? I took the under on Barkley's yards this year. And I feel pretty secure in that choice, especially when he keeps putting up less than 100 yards. But they don't care. They're going to keep stacking W's, and they don't care how they have to stack them as long as they keep stacking them.
Well, and I mean, it's because they won last year. There's just this sense, and I felt this way about the Eagles. We all remember a couple years ago starting the season 10-1 and just falling off a cliff, right? And you could feel the ground crumbling beneath you even while they were winning. And then once they beat the Chiefs, I think they lost to the Niners the week after they beat the Chiefs, and the edge of the cliff started falling, and you knew that you could just feel it coming and inevitably getting your butt kicked by the Bucs in the playoffs. Now, last season, it felt the way they were winning was similar, but it just felt different. Well, now that they've won, you can tell this team isn't concerned about making the playoffs. You know, like they're not hanging on like every win, every loss. There's teams where every win really matters, where for the Eagles, they know they're going to make the playoffs. They just have to fine tune things along the way for when they get there. So it's funny because you're right. The first half, the Eagles were just awful, and we can praise the Rams, and we should praise the Rams. I thought that McVay's game plan was perfect. I felt the way that he ran the offense was perfect. I thought the Rams came out, they did what they wanted to do. The Eagles just kept shooting themselves in the foot left, right, and center. They scored on their first drive and couldn't do anything else for the rest. And then the beginning of the third quarter, Jalen Hurts gets strip sacked, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go again. But the funny thing about that comeback was it was pretty. Like, while the Eagles tend to win not that pretty sometimes, they it's just AJ Brown, man. Like, that guy is disgusting. Literally sometimes, and they did have a really favorable matchup when it came to the cornerbacks, when it came to the secondary. So this example notwithstanding, but sometimes it's really not that complicated. Like, just get your best player the ball. Like, it's really not deep with like schematics and X's and O's. It's literally just give your best player the ball. But on the other hand, the best part about that was Devontae Smith also had some huge moments. The first touchdown of the comeback was to Dallas Goedert, wide open down the middle. Like, it just felt like, okay, Saquon doesn't have it today. We have 3 other stars at their positions that we're going to get the ball to. And it was just beautiful. So that Jordan Davis, that was hilarious to me, because if it's any other position, if it's like a linebacker or any other position, they probably just fall down, right? But because it's a D lineman who never touches the football, he's just like, I'm taking this home. And I couldn't
a reservation for the end zone.
Dude. And it cost me money. Like, I lost a bet. I picked the Rams plus 3.5. But I was so impressed. Like, I was like, this is hilarious. Like, if it was any other team that happened, I would have been mad. But because it was the Eagles, I was like, emotional victory, financial loss. Which one matters more? I don't know. Any more thoughts on that game?
People like a big man touchdown. People love a big man touchdown. You know they're not going to get many chances at this. And you know what? Low key, I think he wanted to show off some of that athleticism. I think he really wanted to let everybody know, is just, listen, it's not just Jalen Carter here, okay? Like, some of us can really move, okay?
Well,
and so he just wanted to remind people.
He was a huge draft pick, like, no pun intended. When they drafted him, that was a very loud pick. And I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because he's been a little bit underwhelming over his first 2 seasons. I think he hasn't played. He's obviously played, but it seems like he's been on somewhat of a pitch count throughout his first couple seasons. And whether it's his like stamina or fitness or whatever, he lost weight during the offseason. This 3-game stretch has been arguably his best 3 games as an Eagle. He's looked phenomenal this year so far, and he put the cherry on top with that one. And he had a very good game overall. Obviously, we're going to talk about that play because of what it was. But he was like chasing Stafford around, and him and Jalen Carter were on a mission on Sunday. And it was this has been a huge coming out season for him. And I'm happy that he got his moment. But all day he was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, definitely agree. And he really had to bring it that first game too, because Jalen got himself kicked out before the game actually started. So,
yeah, like, that's a great point. Spitgate.
So he got off to a real great start, because he was getting more of the snaps than and like more of the rhythm. He could get into the rhythm of the game fast enough, just based on that. But yeah, no, definitely, he's definitely bringing it this year. It's good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Tampa Bay beats the Jets 29-27. Even when it's unnecessary, Baker just has to have a hero game. Like, this game, the Bucs should have won this game by 20, but he was like, this is way too easy, boys. Can we let up a bit and let me come back at the end and win a game here? This is too comfortable of a win. Just love Baker, man. We're going to talk about the Bucs more later when we talk about the Eagles Bucs, but he's one of my if you're talking like the whole package, if you're talking on the field, if you're talking personality, just overall likability, he's one of my favorite players in this league, man. I just love the way he competes. I love the way he plays. And you know, you just trust him. You
Yeah.
trust him. At the end of the game, he's going to find a way to get the job done. Now, Mike Evans got hurt in that game. I don't know if you've heard his status for Sunday. I haven't heard anything definitive. There was rumors throughout the week that Chris Godwin might be back. There's definitely some injury woes that are plaguing them in the next week or two. But just half upset with the Bucks because like this game didn't need to be as close as it was. Like Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback for Pete's sake, but also just can't say enough about Baker at the same time.
Baker's he's actually one of my favorite kind of like comeback stories, if you will, because and
Oh
I
yeah,
always reference that game on Thursday night when he literally met with McVay like maybe the Sunday or Monday after the games were played over the weekend, and the Rams aren't playing for anything, and they just need someone to take snaps for them because they're like their third quarterback deep, and get met meets with him, is on the team, gets in maybe one practice, um and starts for them Thursday night and wins a football game. And it was just kind of like the beginning of reestablishing himself in the league, and people,
yeah.
just kind of viewing him in a leadership aspect. And then, he goes on a tear with the Bucks and has been there ever since. It's a really, really good just comeback story, and just kind of like, you know, uh, that far removed from the Browns experience, and you see where the Browns are since he's left, and you see where the Bucks are since he's come on board, and you're just saying to yourself like, man, the Browns are just gonna brown, aren't they?
It's so classic. It's so
But
classic.
you're just looking at it like, man, like this guy won a playoff game for you guys against the Steelers. Like if this was
I
college
know.
football, like this is all you ask. Beat your rival. If you beat your rival, you keep your job. Like it's
I
like,
know.
and then fast forward to where we are now, and how they have Flacco just kind of like caretaking until one of these guys shows up for them. It's just wild to me how far how far removed from that we are. One bad guaranteed contract, and like uh, if you count the amount of starting quarterbacks they've had since Baker, and then how many quarterbacks have started for the Bucks since then, and you're just like, you
I
had the
know.
guy. Honestly, you
I know.
had the guy, and maybe was he up and down and maybe inconsistent? All right, probably. Yeah, we could say that. But at the same time, like the guy, you haven't really had that kind of confidence as a team with your presumptive starters since then. You haven't. And I don't count the Flacco year where he takes them into the playoffs because he wasn't the presumptive starter going in. He wasn't supposed to be the guy. He
No.
became the guy because the guy got hurt. So,
Yeah.
like, it's just wild to me. He deserves everything that's happening right now. I love him as a leader. Um and I always think highly of the Bucks just because of his leadership and what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, listen, you sent me down a couple paths there that I would love to get to. To continue continuing with the Bucks real quick though. After Tom Brady, the future was very unknown. The future was I don't want to say like bleak, but it just felt like okay, they're going to win like they won the Super Bowl. The next year's Tom Brady's last year, and it just felt like they might just kind of strip it down, start over. They won their Super Bowl. Let's see what happens after this. And then they get Baker, and like here they are. I couldn't be more happy for the guy. I think it's just awesome. And dude, the Browns, like you're talking about since Baker left, like, bro, you're the Browns.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking? Like this guy's not good enough? Good enough for compared to what? You guys have sucked for like 60 years. Like, what are we talking? Not 60, but like, what are we talking about? What do you mean? Like, this guy's not good enough. Like, and the frustrating thing, I mean, not the frustrating thing. I'm not even a Browns fan. Browns fans, like Mark, what
they're
the
living
frustrating
it. They're
thing,
the ones living
really,
it. Yeah.
the one frustrating thing, Mark,
Pick one.
seriously. Their defense is so good, man. Like, to bring this back to this past week, their defense is so good. The Lions are favored by 9.5 this week, and that's only because the Browns can't score. And so it's like, I think 9.5 is too big just based on how good the Browns defense is. At the same time, like these guys can't score. And it's like, so I mean, even if like the Lions win 13-3, they're still going to cover the spread. You know what I mean? But that's a different conversation. Like, Baker was awesome for the Browns, and sure, he was inconsistent. Sure, he had his moments.
Yeah.
This is the first of two girlfriend analogies that I'm going to give you this week. The second will be coming up later. Them going after Deshaun Watson is like, you're going after this girl who's dated all your friends, you know? And I say dated as the PG nice version with all your friends.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, man, she really loves me. Like, this is the one. Like, she's different now. She's changed. And all your friends are just like, dude, we've all been with her, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is not going to work out well. And you just can't see. We all saw this coming from a mile away. All of us saw this coming with the Browns when you go after Deshaun Watson. Like, I don't know, man. I'm sure there were people out there who had high hopes, who thought that this was going to work out. Never once did I think that this was going to work out well for the Cleveland Browns. Not once. I didn't understand it. Yes, we all know what like Deshaun Watson used to be. We all understand the situation he was in when they signed him, why he wasn't playing. It's just, to me, this is just a train wreck. And I didn't even mean to talk about Baker and then dog on the Browns, but it's just amazing to me that this is the path that they've gone down. And to me, I feel like we all could have seen this happening a mile away, but Deshaun was just so hot to them. They were just blinded. They just couldn't see it.
And that's not to say that the team that came in second place during that sweepstakes was, lighting it up. It's not like Atlanta's quarterback situation has been glowingly with when they had the pivot from that. They've gone through Desmond Ritter. They've gone through oh gosh, who did they have in between there? Tyler Heineke. They brought in Heineke.
Oh yeah.
To kind of like just in case Ritter didn't come through. And the Kirk Cousin experiment that didn't work out in their favor. Now, granted, they've finally kind of landed on the whole Penix thing, and they kind of lucked out there. But they don't know what he's gonna be. They hope that he's gonna be a guy, but they don't know either. So it's not like their situation was any better, but they have a measure of hope, whereas Cleveland has not up until this point. So yeah, so it's not, let's to put that in perspective, it's not like Atlanta's like where Cleveland's here, but
yeah. Like literally though, like what's so frustrating about the whole Cleveland situation is like you have like okay, let's say their backup quarterback's name escapes me. We all know Sanders. Like you have these rookies
They got
sitting
Dylan.
back
Yeah,
there.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they pan out, maybe they don't, or whatever. But you have the talent to be a playoff team. Like at least with the Falcons, like Penix, like you said, like he's their guy. Whether or not it pans out or not, you have your guy, like you said.
Yeah.
Like that Browns defense is tremendous, dude. Like there's a world where they're 2-1 right now. And that defense they kept the Browns in that game against the Ravens as long as they could. And eventually
Valid. Yeah. Floodgates
eventually
open.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
they did their best. But they should have won that game against the Bengals week 1, right? And it's just like this team could not easily, maybe easily. I don't know. But like they could be a playoff team if they just had and like maybe it's not that simple. I think Joe Flacco, he's the best option they have, and he's fine. I would love to have Joe Backo. I don't know what I'm saying. Joe Flacco. Oh, that's what I was saying. Joe Flacco as a backup on my team. I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about the Falcons a little bit later. Indianapolis 41, Tennessee 20. Not too much to say for me other than two quick things. First, on Tennessee, that head coach is just awful. He's so bad. Like there's two straight weeks where he has fumbled time management at the end of the first half to put his team down by more points than they would have been down by if he just did normal things. And I just think even if Cam Ward, like I just think the Tennessee experience would be a lot more fun if this head coach just wasn't doing stupid things every single week. I'm curious to know between him, Dayball, and Mike McDaniels. I'm interested to see who goes first. I'm assuming it's going to be this guy on the Tennessee sideline. Listen, man, I know that they beat Tennessee, but I think it's time to, at least for me, are they going to go undefeated? More than likely, no. I think the Colts are the real deal, man. And especially you look at this division, no other team wants to be competitive. Like the Jags, the Jags try to lose every game, but they find a way to win them. And the Texans suck apparently. And the Titans are the Titans. To me, the Colts, they're in the playoffs. Unless something happens to Indiana Jones, apparently. I don't know, man. I think I've seen enough. And I was nervous to bet this game in favor of the Colts because I just felt like, man, the first 2 weeks couldn't have gone better if you're talking from a Danny Dimes perspective.
Yeah.
They should have lost that game against the Broncos, but they found a way to get it done. It's a division game. I know the Titans are bad, but it's a division game. Like the vibes are high with the Colts. Eventually they have to come down at some point. But you win by 21 points, no matter how bad the coach is on the other sideline. You win by 21 points. You're I'm sucked in, Joe. I'm officially in on the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, listen, I think for me it's kind of been like if not now when, if not now when.
Yeah.
And listen, and it's a team effort what's happening here. They had 4 sacks against the Titans
Yeah.
last week, so the defense is bringing it. Which I mean, rookie quarterback, right? So you're going to take advantage of the rookie mistakes and the like you said, the coaching. Callahan, he's a first-time head coach, so these are the kind of things that um happen, like in terms of like when you're like the guy, when you're like in charge, and you're not just in charge of your one little section, which by the way, he's giving up play calling. So he's already reaching at straws. He's already kind of like, okay, if I need to be if I have to be a CEO, then I need to give up one of my responsibilities so I can focus on the overarching picture of what's
Good.
happening. So he's
Good.
already given up the play calling. So play
Good.
calling, he's not in charge of play calling now. So the OC is going to be running the show, and we'll see how that changes things. We'll see if he's on top of clock management now. We'll see if and I'm sure he's going to have his input, right? Because Callahan's an offensive coach, right? So he's definitely going to have his fingerprint on the game plan. He's definitely going to, veto something if he feels like they should go in a different direction, but at least for the most part, he's gonna, kind of like relinquish the reins on that. But circle back to the Colts. What I love about them is the fact that I think Steichen's just infused confidence in this guy,
Mhm.
and with that confidence, he's just letting it rip. You actually remember that they have receivers on this team now.
Yeah.
Think about how the prop bets were different when AR was the quarterback versus anyone else being the quarterback on that team. The prop bets actually went up for the receivers because the expectation was they were going to actually get the ball or get catchable balls with a different quarterback at play. And so now we're watching the game and then it's like, oh wow, you forget that they had pieces on that team already. The Alex Pierces, the Michael Pittman Juniors, the Josh Downs, the Warren's a dog. Like this guy
Dude,
is
he's
just
great, man.
killing it. So
Yeah.
it's like all those pieces now really feel like pieces because they got a guy that knows how to get them the football. What did I tell you before the season started? Before the season started, I said that what Steichen can count on as far as Danny Dimes versus AR is that he's gonna make the easy plays. The short to intermediate routes will be viable again with Danny at quarterback because AR could not make the simple plays at all. He was either 50-yard bombs or bust. That was it. He couldn't make the easy plays. He couldn't make the easy checkdowns. Even when Gardner Minshew was in at quarterback, the play that missed the playoffs was an easy dump off to the flat that he threw short. And that cost them a playoff spot. So Danny Dimes makes all the easy plays. What we did not expect were the hard ones he's making. His ability to be otherworldly against the blitz. Like he's making guys pay to blitz him. Or are you gonna blitz me? Okay. Over the top. Or I know where my outlets are. He'll hit Tyler Warren on a little short 6-yarder because he knows that's his outlet from where the blitz is coming from, coming across the formation. Boom, boom. Like it's like the comfort that he has within this offense because it does fit his skill set. He is a mobile quarterback. He's not a statue back there. He can run for yardage. People forget he had a 90-yard touchdown that he himself cost him by tripping at the 10-yard line against the team. He can move, and he's still young enough to where he can move super effectively for yardage, and he makes himself a threat, which is making Jonathan Taylor's life a whole lot easier because when they run those RPOs, he's an actual threat at the quarterback position to take off, which is giving him more lanes to run through. So I love everything about the Colts right now. They're playing all phases of football. I love what they're doing, and we'll find out how much more I love what they're doing when we talk about them this week. But that's just what I got on the Colts. I've been in on the Colts. I was in on the Colts at the beginning of the season, taking their over for wins. I believed. They are supporting my belief, and they are now almost halfway to that over win total. And we're in week 4. What
I
do you
know.
mean?
I know.
They
And
only
it's
have to
good.
win 7 for me to
It's
get in there.
I know, and it's a good thing that there are podcasts that I listen to and trust and enjoy, people who have been doing this a lot longer than me, who were harder on the Colts than I was. Because you were about it, I was not. And if I was the only one on, Colts hate
Oh yeah,
island,
no one
I
had
would
him.
feel a
No
lot
one had him.
worse about myself.
Exactly.
Listen, man, 816 yards, 3 pass TDs, 55 rush yards. It's not like he's going crazy, but
Right.
55 rush yards, 3 rush TDs, 2 sacks on the whole year. What prop? We didn't do it this week, but the first 2 weeks we gave out interception prop for Danny Jones. I know I
Yeah.
did. I'm pretty sure you backed it. I could be wrong.
Week 1 and week 2.
Yes.
I had him throw the pick
Zero
because I didn't
Zero
believe.
picks. Zero
Yeah.
picks. And what's impressive to me, and what I, because 2023 Jonathan Taylor was unbelievable. And last
Mm.
year, whether it was last year the contract, was last year
No,
the issue with
last
contract?
year, last year, yes.
It
Wait,
was.
no, it was the year before. It was the
Okay.
year before because um Steichen has had, was it 3? This is his 3rd year, right?
No,
I
second. Oh no, you're right.
No,
It is his
it's his
third year.
3rd.
You're right.
It's his
Yeah, yeah,
3rd.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his 3rd. So that first season, it was a combination of Minshew and AR, and then the second season was a combination of Flacco and AR. So that first season, um, was and I remember this because he went into his first season with his best player in a contract dispute. Like that was his first experience as
Yeah,
a
you're
head
right.
coach.
Yeah.
His running back wanted more money, and that was right around the time. That was right around the time where everybody was like, "What's going on with the running back market? Why is that not moved up like every other major position that you think of, like corner, like pass rusher, like quarterback? Like why has the running back position kind of become stagnant? And again, a lot of that comes on the heels of really bad contracts. A lot of that comes on the heels
Yeah.
of Ezekiel Elliott flaming out on his contract. A lot of that comes on the heels of Todd Gurley flaming out on his contract to where he's out of the league now because of his leg injuries, which he came into the league with that kind of mark on him from Georgia. Um,
That guy
but
won me $400 in fantasy football and then
right, and
moved
he
on.
wanted,
And
yeah.
then just
So
poof.
so you're like, okay, you get it, right? Because he's a fantasy guru, and then the injuries start creeping up, and then his
Yeah.
speed goes, and now he becomes a plotting back at Atlanta before he's out the league. But that's what happened, is that Taylor's contract comes up right around the time that's happening. And the reason why people got pissed off at him was because in April, before we even get into the nitty-gritty, in April, he said, "Hey, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be a professional. We'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah." By the time training camp starts in July, nah, I'm holding out. No, there's no way that I can, no. And so
Yeah.
that's really where that started. And so Steichen's like in the middle of this, kind of like, okay, not particularly sure about the quarterback position. I felt pretty secure about the running back position, and I thought that I would have him as a leader, as a guy that's going to be a focal point in this offense. That's what he went into the league with. And so I say all that to say that you flip it over. This is why we felt the way we felt about the Colts, because AR tapping out, the rumors about people being late to treatments, late to meetings, the lack of accountability in that building. Everybody on the outside's watching this. It's just like the same people that are in that building are still running the show. So you're thinking to yourself, how do you flip the culture when you've already had 2 years of this flippant culture? And then in comes Danny Dimes, and here's what Danny Dimes can provide that just about anyone else can't really speak to in this kind of unique position. He's bringing 6-7 years of baggage from
Yeah.
multiple
I was
regimes
I was
in
literally
the
gonna say that.
Giants.
Yeah.
And so now he can look at this and be like, hey, a lot of the stuff that I hear that's been going on here, I can tell you 1000% doesn't work. I lived it. I still managed to win a playoff game amongst living it,
Yeah.
but I can tell you long term cannot be like this. And I think to a certain extent, um knowing what he is as a quarterback and knowing the things that he does well, after that first game, I think you look around in that locker room, I think you got to think, wait a minute. 5-yard plays are back in, the 10-yard plays are back in, outs and ins, things that require timing back in. Wait a minute. Because you can practice all you want to, and you could see it in practice all you want to, but when you see it in live games and games that matter, and you can see that, oh, wait a minute, we might have a guy. Oh, I need to get my shit together. Like I need
Yeah.
to get my stuff together. Defense needs to bring it. Special teams needs to bring it. Now everybody's like, we need to bring it. We can trust this guy. We may not be able to trust the old, white-haired 40-year-old and the guy that can't throw a football pass shorter than 50 yards accurately. This guy, we've seen it. We can see it.
Well, and like to me, where this whole thing started for me was like, yeah, they have Jonathan Taylor, but Danny Jones. Yeah, they have Johnny Taylor, but last year, a couple of years ago, he was great. No big deal, dude. Like, if it's easier for Danny Jones, and this isn't some groundbreaking thing I'm about to say, like it's easier for him to manage the game when he trusts that my running game will always have my back. Like 602 yards over the weekend, right? Danny Jones scrambles for 27 of his own, right? Like his stats, like the way he's managing the game, it's easy when you trust that like your running game is always going to have your back.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, now listen, the weekend, you're facing the Titans, say what you want, I don't know. 102 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, which is not going to happen every week. I understand that. But
Right.
Danny Jones, man, 18 for 25, 9.12 average yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks, right? 228 yards, like nothing flashy. Just like hand the
Clean
ball
pocket
off.
too.
Yeah, dude, hand the ball off to Taylor, let him do his thing. And just manage the game. I'm really stoked on it, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the season moves over. We're gonna go back to the Colts when we talk about our bets for week 4. Moving on. Just pulling this back up here. What's going on here? My apologies. All right. All right, Washington 41, Vegas 24, Chargers 23, Denver 20. I know we're coming up on an hour here. We are going to get to our bets. But I feel like there's a couple things that kind of need to be said. I told you that I had one girlfriend analogy, that I have 2, and I already gave you one. I can't. Every year, um, every year, I tell myself that I'm not going to date the Chargers. I'm not going to believe in it. Even before Justin Herbert, we all know the Phillip Rivers years and everything. It's the Chargers love to lose. They find a way to lose. We all remember what happened. You're up against Jacksonville, up whatever it was, 30-0, whatever. The Chargers love to lose and they find a way to lose. I hate to do this live, but can you hear me okay? Am I like crackling?
I do hear some crackling, yes.
All right.
But I can hear you.
All right. I'll say my point and then I will try to fix this issue. The Chargers look awesome, man. Like I every year I tell myself I'm not gonna buy in, I'm not gonna believe, and I can't quit this team, dude. Like, you know, like she's hot. She's hot. Like, yeah, there's issues. She's, doesn't have a relationship with her father, and she's got, some weird friends. And I know this probably won't work out well, but like I can't, like she's just so good looking. I can't not date this girl. But I know it's gonna end disastrously. That's how I feel about the Chargers, man. Like I know we've all watched this movie. We all know how it's gonna end. Now, Jim Harbaugh, it's a different thing, different, Um, but Herbert looks phenomenal. Like he just looks confident. We talked about it before. Looks confident in his decisions to run, to throw, the whole deal. The defense looks fantastic. Now there are some injuries that are concerning.
True.
But this team looks great, man. And there's always something that gives me pause to give them credit, because I think that the offense like deserves credit because Denver's defense is very good. I thought Denver's defense played phenomenal over the weekend.
I agree. They got to
The
him 5 times.
offense, yeah. The offense for Denver looks a little bit like dysfunctional right now. And so it's hard to give the Chargers full credit simply based on the facts that Bo Nix is having a tough sophomore year right now. That being said, dude, the Chargers look really good and they take on your Giants on the weekend. I just like, we'll see what happens with the Ravens and the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs could be 1-3 by Monday. This is a good team, man. And that division is becoming more and more right there for the taking. Yeah, what do you got for me on the Chargers, man? Because I can't quit this team, and the history is making it hard for me to believe. But I do, dude, like Jim Harbaugh, the guy's a winner, man. He wins wherever he goes. This is a different situation than we've seen in the past. And I just can't get over how confident Herbert looks right now. It's phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, listen. I'll attribute some of the Chargers' bad luck to just being in the era Brady, right? Like, there's so many AFC teams that can kind of relate to just existing during the Patriots era of dominance.
Yeah,
So,
but Brady wasn't on the Jags when they were up 30-0, bro. Like,
well, yeah, well, I'm transitioning to that. But
sorry.
that's kind of like when you look at the track record and you're just putting together all of the just missed opportunities. I think about that because there's some Charger teams with Philip and Ladanian and Antonio that you thought for sure,
Gotcha.
this is a Super Bowl team, bro. There's just no way they don't make it to the Super Bowl, and then somehow, it's the Chargers, it's the Patriots in there, it's the Ravens in there, or it's the Steelers in there. You're just like, man, that's God. Are you ever gonna, And that goes to your point of trying. How many times are we going to fall for it, right? I think the difference this year, just in this regime, is just the way that Harbaugh coaches football, right?
Yeah.
I think that he's going to make it a point to win the line of scrimmage. That's just what it's going to be. His brand of football is that he's going to win the line of scrimmage, and they're going to pound the rock. Now, here's what they've changed between last year and this year. They're actually using the passing game to kind of set up the running game a little bit. And in doing that, Herbert's experiencing kind of like a resurgence in his passing statistics. Um, you've got Quentin Johnson, who all of a sudden doesn't have stone hands and is catching the football. Great for him. Love that. Not a lot
Yep.
of young guys are able to get over the yips, and they find themselves out of the league eventually. So kudos to him, because now they have a legitimate deep threat that they can look to. Lad McConkey is doing Lad McConkey things. He's been steady. He's been consistent. A safety blanket for Herbert, and the former safety blanket is now back in the fold in Keenan Allen, and they look like they've picked up right where they left off.
Yeah.
Which, granted, he was only gone for a year, right? He had that 1 year stint with the Bears, and is back with the Chargers. So it's not like he was gone forever and came back. But at the same time, boom, it's like they were never apart. They've been together the whole time. So I think because of how they're using the pass game to kind of set up the run, I think it's going to help them. That bad luck that we attribute to the Chargers, though, has reared its ugly head, because a guy who's played literally every game of his career is now out for the year, and he's playing for the Chargers. Like, he was fine with the
Yeah.
Steelers. Nothing ever happened to Najee with the Steelers, and then here we are before the season starts. A firework incident threatens his ability to play, and then a season-ending injury. So it's like,
I
man, is it the
know.
Chargers? Is it the Chargers? Are they cursed? Are they cursed? But they're winning games, and they're doing it very impressively. And granted, they have some injuries on the defense that are worth mentioning, worth worrying about. But when you have an offense that's clicking the way they're clicking, if they have to handle it on the offensive side of the ball a little bit more and carry the defense while these injuries work themselves out, I'm finding myself trusting their ability to do so.
I agree with
I
you.
think
Yeah.
Hampton is a dual threat back. I think catching the ball, running the ball. I think the thing with him and why he had a slow start, he's a volume guy. He's not used to having to share the rock. In North Carolina, he was the guy, and he was able to have 10 carries in the first half to get himself in the groove to where he's pounding the rock like crazy in the second half and taking over ball games in the second half. Now he has that luxury because Najee is not going to be in the fold. He's going to
It's
be the primary ball carrier.
it's a huge opportunity for him. Huge opportunity. And I think you're absolutely right. Like, that's who I'm looking at right now moving forward. Is
Yeah,
like now that Najee's gone, which it sucks, dude. Like,
obviously.
he's
Yeah, right.
a consummate
Yeah.
pro. You don't want anything bad to happen to anybody.
Usually
But
always
Harris,
available.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, but on the flip side, for Hampton, this is a perfect opportunity for him. And I just love what I'm watching right now, man.
Agreed.
I love what I'm watching. All right, moving on. Once again, pulling this up. Finish going through the week, and then there are two teams that I am done on. I'm out on.
Okay.
And I had mid to high hopes for both of them. And I'll see where you stand on this. The Seahawks just destroy the Saints. Not much to say on that. 44-13. The Chicago Bears beat the Dallas Stars. I'm looking at a star, and I have to cover the Stars tonight, so I'm just Dallas Stars. The Dallas Cowboys. I like the Stars. I don't like the Cowboys, so
Yeah.
that's that. 31-14. I don't have much to say about this game. Other than I'm happy for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I like the um Eberflus jokes about how he finally unlocked Caleb Williams. That's really funny.
With his
I'm here for
defense.
it. I here for it. I appreciate it. It's really great.
Nice.
Don't really care on
Yeah.
a grand scale. If you're like in a vacuum, I'm really happy for Ben Johnson to get the win. I'm happy for Caleb Williams to look good, to play well. Cowboys defense is horrendous, and I don't care really on a big scale. But like I said, in a vacuum, I like what I see. At least from that game. San Francisco beats the Cardinals. Connor, man, for him to go out, just
Tough.
sucks. Like really, really sucks. And all of the tweets coming out from around the league just kind of show you how everybody just thinks so highly of this guy as a professional, as a man. Really sucks to see him go out the way that he went out. San Francisco, Nick Bosa is now out for the season. This team, the fact that they're 3-0, I think is somewhat miraculous. I didn't have high hopes for this team.
Yeah.
They're winning, but Mac Jones is hurt now, so we'll see kind of what's going on with that and Brock Purdy or whatever. I don't have much to say on this, but I will say it's a good thing you're 3-0 because the injuries keep mounting up, and we'll see how long you can sustain this. Their schedule is not that difficult. They can still make a push to win the division or the wild card, but Seattle looks really good right now. We'll see them tonight. So we'll get to the Sunday nighter in a minute. And the game starts in about 40 minutes. So we'll start wrapping up and we'll move on to our bets. I know we're going a little long. I did want to ask you, Joe.
Yeah.
There are two teams that I was mid to high on before the season started, and I am now out on both of them. Why don't we do it this way? I will give you a guess. Can you guess the first one? Who's the first one that I'm out on?
Texans.
The Houston Texans. That's the first one. I am out. I'm done. I think that the defense is elite. This defense is very, very good. Very good. CJ Stroud has, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, CJ Stroud has not looked as bad as you would think for this like winless start or whatever. This offensive line is horrendous, and the running game is piecemeal. I know that you don't have Tank Dell. I know that you don't have a lot of weapons. It's basically all Nico Collins. But this offensive line is awful. And there is nothing, this team, like they were in position to win every single one of these games. And so on the one hand, you can look at it as potential positive regression where you're like, okay, they've been in all these games, whatever. Buddy, you're 0-3, man. Yeah. Like, to me, this is too big of a hole for this offense to get out of. You know, if you're 1-2, 2-1, or whatever, I don't see. I'm out, man. I don't see, like, they're playing the Titans this week, and I know it's the Titans. 7.5 point favorite against the Titans. Yes, they're 7.5 point favorites, but it's plus 100. It's plus money. Which, if this was any other competent offense, it would be minus money at that spread. I'm out on this team, and I'm not. I don't want to dwell on it too long. We're already running long as it is, but I'm out on the Houston Texans. I'm out. I know it's week 4, but I'm out.
No, I'm out too. I think it's been alarming to watch how the defense is playing, and then see what the offense is doing in return. And the crazy part about it is it didn't just start. This didn't just start happening.
No.
We saw this last year. We saw this last year. And I remember saying to myself watching them play the oh my god, you remember the Chiefs game last year? I watched that game last year and I saw a disaster waiting to happen. And the crazy part is their offensive line has gotten worse. It's gotten worse. And so now with them regressing on the line, well, that's making it even more like you can understand last year, like as you're watching it, you can see, okay, sophomore slump. Yeah, okay, yeah, things aren't happening as crisp, I get it. Um, and then you're watching him this year and he's just not comfortable back there.
No.
He is not comfortable back there. Um uh and it's alarming also. I kind of it's kind of like the same thing like um when I watch Mahomes and how he's kind of like progressed the last 2 3 seasons not having Tyreek Hill and like kind of like that lack of a consistent deep threat. He's kind of had to change the offense a little bit and think more intermediates, think more the short passing game. Um and watching his inefficiency with the deep ball, I'm watching CJ Stroud trying to navigate his O line issues because granted, the Chiefs O line, while not terrific, way better than the
Yeah.
Houston line.
Yeah,
Um,
not even close.
way better. Like
Yeah.
the Chiefs have hope because Josh Simmons is doing well up until last week, he had not let go a sack all season. So like he's been as advertised. Um, if Houston doesn't get this line, and history suggests that the line has been an issue for Houston in the past. Like they ran a top pick out of the league in David Carr with a terrible offensive line, and I'm just deeply afraid of this happening to CJ Stroud, to where their line becomes like as decrepit as that line, to where he's touching 50, 60 times sacked. He's at 8 right now. So he's on average 2.5, 2 1/3 times sacked a game.
Well, and
Um,
they had a really good O lineman. Like they had, I can't, his name's escaping me right now, but they had a
they had
really good
Tunsil.
guy,
Tunsil was not great last season, but he was still better than what we're watching.
and
But yeah, and they traded him.
they traded him, and they're talking about like a cancer in the locker room and blah 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 blah. Dude, like, okay, fine. Like, was it that bad that you had to like, and like they gutted, I don't know, gutted, but they did a pretty good work removing a lot of that um staff on the offensive side of the football. Like this why like I
Yeah.
really like D'Amico Ryans. I don't want to see him fired. I really like him a lot. However, if there is a reason why I would think about it, it's you removed all these guys from the offensive coaching staff and you're worse this year. And like worse. Like it's not good at all.
He doesn't shop for the groceries though, right? So like at the
Ah,
same time,
I
that
know.
offensive line's not completely on him. And
It's not.
also,
No.
the one thing I will say, and this is the quickest way to get fired if you're a head coach in the league, if your side of the ball that you specialize in is not putting in the work, you're on the fast track to being gone, which is why I say Mike McDaniel's going to be the first to be gone because of that
Yeah,
offense's inconsistencies. Um but his side of the ball is balling.
they're playing
So
well.
it's
Yeah, I
hard to
can't argue
argue
with that.
that particular point when his defense close to the top of the league in scoring defense and they're 0-3. It's like what we're looking at in the Ravens where they're close to the top of the league in points scored and their defense is costing them games. It's the reverse of what we're looking at with the Ravens.
Yeah. No, I can't argue. I can't argue. Spent too much time on the Texans, but I'm out on this
Valid.
team. All right, one more team that I am out on. Can you guess who it is?
Could be a bunch of winners there. Maybe the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs.
Not the Chiefs. It's not the Chiefs. I got my questions. I have my doubts. It's not the Chiefs.
Not the Chiefs.
I'll give you one more guess, and then I'll tell you.
I'm trying to remember who you were high on, so I can bring them down.
Mid to high. Mid to high. I don't know
Mid
how
to
high.
high.
Yeah, mid to
Okay.
high.
Mid to high. Is it in the same division?
As the Texans?
No, as the Chiefs. Because I do
No.
recall that you were kind of high on the mid to high on the Raiders.
I was.
I don't know, man. What do you got for me? What do you got for me? I don't know.
The Atlanta Falcons, dude. Like,
oh, that was my second guess too.
You
That was my
cannot.
second guess.
Listen, bro. Like, and
Yeah.
again, here I am on a soapbox in a basement in Toronto. Like, what do I know? I'm just saying, if you lose to a division rival, even if they're the worst defense in the league through 2 weeks, that's fine. It's the NFL. It happens, man. You let your guard down, you lose a football game, it's fine. Bro, shut out against the Carolina Panthers? What are we what are we saying? Like, I know it's a rookie quarterback. Heard and understood. I know there's going to be kinks. I understand all of that. This is not acceptable to get shut out by the Carolina Panthers. Listen, the Falcons might squeak into the playoffs with a 9-8 record. They may very well miss the playoffs. Regardless, I am out on this team. I can't, man. I know it's week 3, and this might be some, ESPN first take, hot take like nonsense. I really don't mean it that way. If you are a competent offense and you can be trusted moving forward this season, rookie quarterback or not, to be shut out by a defense that has been embarrassed, borderline embarrassed, like it can't happen. It just can't. And like this Sunday, like they take on the Washington Commanders at home, plus 102. Any other situation, I would really like that spot for the Falcons. I don't love what I've seen from Washington. I know that they're 2-1 now. They're winning games. I don't really trust what I'm seeing over there. I would typically like a plus play money line for the Falcons in that spot. I cannot bet on this football team after seeing that over the weekend. And this isn't deep. There's no crazy X's and O's. I'm not going to throw out whatever. It's just like, and then you cut Koo and bring in this guy.
Hey, he was shut out first week, but the irony of him missing 2 kicks the very next game was crazy,
dude. And once again, I reiterate, losing to a division rival is fine. It happens, even if they are the Carolina Panthers. This is the NFL. Any team can beat you any given week, even if it's embarrassing or not embarrassing, but even if like they shouldn't beat you, it can happen. To be shut out by the Panthers is inexcusable. And I'm out on this football team.
That's all right. That's valid. I will say this. It wasn't really so much the offense that was, the Panthers kind of like cooking on offense. Like their offensive stats are okay-ish, right? Uh, The pick six can happen.
That's
Um, yeah, that can happen, and it's just, and I've seen a lot of these throws in the first 3 weeks. I've seen a lot of those late to the outs, late to the flat throws where they house it on the other end, and you're just like, yeah, everybody with a brainstem knows you can't be late to the out. The the corner's gonna have inside position. If you're short or late to the out, they're just cutting in and housing it because there's nothing but real estate between them and the end zone. So that can't happen. And it was honestly, coming from the Vikings game, it was actually really surprising to see Penix look like that. He just looked confused all day. It looked like he and mind you, you think if he's gonna be confused, he's gonna be confused against a Brian Flores defense, right? Like that would make sense. That you would look at and be like, oh well, I mean, come on, Brian Flores, he's got Jonathan Grenard, he's got Van Ginkel, he's got toys, and he's got exotic defenses that he could throw out there. That would have made sense to me. But watching this happen against the Panthers, he literally looked like a JV quarterback. Like he literally looked like it was his first day on the job. And that's a little bit concerning. 13 carries for Bijan Robinson. Little bit concerning. If you're gonna help the quarterback out, put your best player on the field and let him cook. Bijan is a problem catching the football, running the football. Like, make it easier for your quarterback. Screens, bubbles, like whatever you got to do to get this man the ball in space, let him cook. And I think the telltale sign that did not happen is Penix having 36 pass attempts. I think
ridiculous.
For me, that tells me that we were from behind the whole game and that we did not run the football effectively or did not run the football enough. To let that happen. So I'm not completely out on them yet. Not completely out on them yet, but I can understand, having watched what we watched last weekend, why you would be.
Yeah, man, listen, like if you like what you said, dude, like I understand how these game scripts go, right? Like I understand you're behind early, 17-0, you got to pass or whatever. Like Robinson is like you said, he's a problem in any facet that you put him in. I feel like he's been underused pretty much all season so far. I know he's had moments, but I feel like he's not being leaned on enough in general. Even if you're losing 17-0, just keep feeding this guy the ball. Like the pick six doesn't help, understood, but like it just makes no sense to me. You just said to me that from the word go, Penix looked lost. If you saw that, then they saw that too. And if that's the case, you just give Robinson the ball and let him go. So I'm out on the Atlanta Falcons.
Valid.
All right.
Not bad.
We got to move on here. You got 5 minutes or less. If you keep it to less, then I am proud of you. If 5 minutes, no big deal. We're going to get to our bets for tonight. For this week, rather. Your guy, Russell Wilson, benched. Jackson Dart starting. I got my opinion on it. The Giants lose 22-9 to the Chiefs. And just so many issues with Russ in that game. Just the throwing it through the end zone on 4th down and throwing it out of bounds.
That was the last straw for them.
So
that was the last straw for them.
They're starting Jackson Dart this week. Give me your thoughts. Like I said, I have an opinion on it, but you're the Giants guy. Talk to me here. How do we feel about Jackson Dart starting week 5? Actually, you know what, man? Before we do this, and just trust me here, before we do this, what's your pick for tonight's game? Seattle -1.5 in Arizona. What do you got for tonight's game? And we'll go back to Jackson Dart.
Yeah. So for me, it's Seattle money line for me. I think that while the Cardinals are um, an improved team, um, I think I need to see a little bit more consistency wise, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and that becomes largely difficult now with your number one running back out for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting for me and see what they're doing forward. Shout out to McBride hitting my anytime touchdown last week.
Woo.
So I don't trust them um not at 100% to be able to overcome the odds. So I got Seahawks money line here, and to further that point on how much I don't trust the running game moving forward without Connor, I've got the under on Trey Benson's yards. Last I checked, it was at 58.5. I think the Seahawks completely shut that down. They rather have Kyler Murray try to beat them because of his inconsistencies behind the in the pocket. I think they shut down the running game. I think they keep Kyler in the pocket and turn him over, and that's going to be the key to them winning the game today.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. I um I like Seahawks money line as well. I will say if you're taking the money line -1.5, so it's -120 on the money line. -1.5 is -106. So I don't mind that at all. I do think it'll be a close game. I'm really looking forward to this game because I really do like this Cardinals team. Obviously, with Connor out, that's a really big deal. I really like this defense on the Cardinals side. I'm all the way bought in on this defense. I do think that the Seahawks win, but I really like this under 43.5. I think this is going to be that. I hate taking total. Like, that's a pretty low total. But the Arizona offense, even when Connor was in, the
Yeah,
Arizona offense wasn't looking super um super smooth. Now I know the Seahawks just, put up 44 points on the weekend, but this Cardinals defense is legit and it's not the Saints defense. So I like that under 43.5 as my favorite bet on that game. All right. The reason why I wanted to push the dark conversation is not only is the Seahawks game starting in like 10 minutes, but the first game that you have in our betting preview is the Chargers in New York. Let me just pull it up here. Where are we? All right, -6.5 Chargers, -295 on the money line, +240 for the Giants. The total is also like tonight, 43.5 at -110, and the under is the same. So let me hear your thoughts on the Jackson Dart situation, and we'll go from there.
yeah. I mean, it was the only move to make in regards to the quarterback position. I think the biggest problem that our team has is our red zone offense is terrible.
Yes.
Um, Anytime we've gotten into the red zone, we're either settling for three or we're not scoring entirely. And that's a huge problem. And the problem with that is that Wilson's lack of mobility does not give us an opportunity to have a dual threat back there. So like when we get inside the 20, we're going to know exactly where Wilson is. Um, and I think that's where we get the boost from Jackson being in there. Um, Another thing in terms of Russ is that the short to intermediate routes, I he can't see. The man's 5'10" or something. Like I just think behind that line, like he's not seeing the complete field. And there was a point in the game against the Chiefs where he was trying to catch lightning in the bottle. He was throwing the deep ball instead of taking the easy completions, and I think that's him overcompensating. I think that's him um trying to will himself to making a big play because he knows that he's on a short leash. Um and just like I always said about like the Dolphins this year, like I think the Dolphins are one big blowout loss from McDaniels being gone. I felt like he was one really terrible game from not being the starting quarterback after that last one. So I was like, oh man, okay. This is it. This has got to be it. And a lot of people are saying, hey, against the Chargers, that's tough. They got a tough defense and that and the other. And I get that. But at the same time, it's like we know what Russell's ceiling and floors are. And we also know, based on recent history, that his ceilings aren't going to come often enough to warrant him still being a starting quarterback in this league. We're going to see him do that against a bottom 5 defense 7 times out of 10. And then when he's on any team that has a top 20 defense, we're going to see what we saw last week.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that, they said, there's nothing else we need to learn about Russell Wilson. We know he's not going to be able to get us to where we want to go. So yeah, week 4, he's got a long runway to make all the mistakes that he's going to make as far as Jackson Dart's concerned. He's going to get his lumps, things of that nature. Hopefully Thomas is off a pitch count at some point because he played like the whole first half and then was gone the whole second half. It felt like, and I was like, what kind of pitch count is that? Why aren't you doing it by series to where he's still in the game late in the game? Like, why are we doing it? Oh, he plays the whole first half and then
Didn't he get hurt though?
And then he's
like,
in a ball cap.
Didn't he
I
get
don't recall
re-hurt?
him.
That's what I heard.
I don't recall him getting hurt. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it felt like he was like gone the whole second half, and I don't recall hearing that he got hurt. If he got hurt, then fine, I get it. But he's gonna be necessary for Hart to have any kind of success moving forward is to have that left tackle situation mapped out. So how I feel about Hart in this game, I feel like he's gonna give them, like when a coach gets fired, you get that new energy in the building boost.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get that new energy in the building boost and they'll cover, but still lose the game. I have zero faith that they're gonna win the game, even without some of the defensive stalwarts that the Chargers have. I just think that I don't trust the Giants defense enough on the back end to be able to stop what Herbert's got cooking. So much so that they're also my prop pick. I'm going to choose, again, Herbert over on the yards at 257.5. I took the over on his yardage with the Broncos last week, and that hit. I think he's going to be able to do it again against this Giants defense with that back 4 I just don't trust. So I think he's going to have plenty of opportunities to hit 300 next week.
Yeah, listen, so just to piggyback on the props, I really like Hampton 70 plus yards plus 106. He hit 70 yards last week, 79 if I remember correctly, plus 106 is really good value, and he's the guy now. So 70 plus yards is not a big day, right? You get 71 yards. It's a good day, not a big day. I think he can do it at plus 106. About the Dart thing, this is just my opinion. This isn't whatever. This is just how I personally feel about it. If you're Dable, the fans want to see Dart. And Russell, like after what we saw, there's no more. You can't do this again. If the game was in Los Angeles, maybe you could do this one more time. But you're at home again. and you cannot have another 60 minutes of listening to your fans go off on you. You can't.
Yeah.
And now in Los Angeles, maybe you would get the same situation because it's a Chargers game. Although that Chargers game at home on the weekend, that was a good turnout. I didn't
It's
know
pretty
there were
lit.
that many.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty lit. Yeah.
I
And
didn't
they're
know there
good,
were that
right?
many Chargers fans out there.
Yeah.
My cousin's a Chargers fan. He's from Cali. I feel like it's like him and a few others. I didn't know that there were more than that.
It's crazy.
But I will say, that it was a good show out by the Chargers fans. Now, this is where I have a problem, is that to me, this is a last ditch effort to save your job, right? Is if Dart comes in and he plays well and you salvage some sort of a season. I'm not saying make the playoffs, but you're in good, competitive, well fought football games and you get over your total and and in fairness too to the Giants, they have like one of the hardest remaining schedules remaining. So this is going to be
Yeah, schedule is brutal.
it's going to be a hard year. To me, especially with Andrew Thomas, okay? This is, and I know this is going to sound, I don't want to say it's a selfish move by Dable. Like the guy deserves to prolong his, tenure. With Andrew Thomas out, I don't know. Is he playing on Sunday? Is it a pitch count again? I don't know what's going on with that. With the state of that offensive line, I do not like this move. I like to me, especially against the Chargers. To me, would the Giants fans be really upset if you saw Jameis for a few weeks and let the O-line get healthy and not put this rookie in to get killed? I just think you're at risk of ruining the guy, in my opinion. I just think if you put Jameis in, you know what you're in for, but at least the white flag has kind of been waved here, right? Like you know kind of that the white flag has been waved. You're gonna see Dart. I would much rather see Dart start on the road against the Saints and just I don't know, man. I don't like the idea of him going in there with a beat up O-line. Because to me, we don't give our quarterbacks time like we used to. These quarterbacks rise and fall so quickly nowadays. That it just, I don't know, man. This thing doesn't feel right to me. I don't like him starting this game. I understand it. I get it. But I'd much rather see Jamston. I'd much rather see Jameis Winston for a game or two or more if he plays well, then bring the kid in this soon in with a beat up O-line. It just makes me, I just don't like it. But I get it.
Listen, Saints have low key been frisky. Were they frisky last week? No, but
I
they were
agree with
frisky
you.
against San
I
Francisco.
know.
I think
You're right. Yeah.
they were frisky. But I'm also of the belief that if not now, when? If not now,
Yeah.
when? And he doesn't have the coaching staff that has the ability to exercise patience. If this was the first year
Yeah.
of a new regime, then maybe we do have the option to sit him for a whole year and just see where we end up at the end of the year and start him next year. But that's not the case. We are on the last legs of this Joe Shane and Brian Daboll experiment. They've already been told at the end of last season, I think one of the final kind of like pressers I don't think it was pressers. I think it was just outside the locker room type situations where they were interviewing Mara, where his patience is growing thin. I think I heard in the universe, the sports universe, how they were worried about another helicopter or another plane flying over Giant Stadium, wanting Dart to start happening, and how the owner keeps track of these sort of things. How he keeps track of this sort of things, because when if you remember from Hard Knocks, when they were talking about whether or not they should resign Barkley, he knew, it's like, listen, he is our most popular player by far, by far. So he has a recognition of the fans, what he's in tune with what's happening, which is why his patience is growing thin, which is why he's been just torn the F up watching Danny Dimes fail over and over and over again, and then seeing it happen again last year on the heels of letting go the most popular player, and watching their rivals win the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, but
he was not gonna watch another Russell Wilson start. I just know you right now. He was not gonna watch it.
And dude, I'm totally fine with benching Wilson 100%. And I get what you're saying about there's never going to be like the right time necessarily. I love to see, Jameis give it a go. You're 0-3. Maybe the guy can help you get to 2-3. I don't know. But I will say too, dude, like watching, and I'm not even talking about the Super Bowl, just watching Saquon have a 2,000-yard season, like that is not that unfathomable. Like, great O-line with Philadelphia, great player. That can be what is fine. But if Danny Dimes goes on and has a year with the Colts, it's like, how is this guy still our head coach? Like, all of our guys move.
How's it not the Giants at this point?
I know.
How's it not the franchise?
At least Saquon is like moving on to like the perfect situation for a player like Saquon, right?
No, you make a valid point.
For Danny Dimes, and not that the Colts are a bad situation, it's just a different.
Oh man, if you talk to Pat McAfee, it was a terrible situation last year. The quarterback is tapping out. People are late to treatment. People are late to meetings.
Oh man.
He almost in a like 20-page letter on X, feeling some type of way about having to watch the Colts play like this. And then I think his last straw was, ironically, the Giants game that they lost last year. His final straw on his team last year. You would think that the Colts were a terrible situation. So if you ask their faithful, just like if you ask the Browns faithful, if you were to ask the Ravens faithful and their first world problems with the Ravens, even though they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Shout out to my boy Andrew, who craps all over his team every day, even though he's got a multiple MVP at quarterback at a team that should theoretically at least make it to the playoffs. Like, if he does it with the Colts, you've got to think it's the Giants at this point. This point.
Dude. Oh, yeah, 100%. All right. I don't want to spend any time on this next game. I don't even have the details loaded up here. But it is the Island game, 9:30 a.m., Minnesota, Pittsburgh. Minnesota minus 146, Pittsburgh plus 124. Minnesota minus 2.5 favorites. I loved what I saw from that defense last week. The offense was good enough to do what they had to do. I still don't think that they should be favored minus 146. I still like Pittsburgh in this spot. Anybody favored like this over in like Ireland, I like Pittsburgh in this spot. You can give me the plus 2.5. I don't mind that plus 124. money line either. And if we're looking at alternate spreads, let me just find this real quick. Where was it? I had it. Sorry. Let me just quickly find this here.
You're fine.
Where's the alternate? Oh, here we go. So yeah, plus 2.5, like I said, for the Steelers. Or sorry, plus 1.5 is. Sorry, what is going on here? Oh, here we go. Plus 2.5 is minus 111. Plus 3.5 is minus 150. A little bit of juice, but I don't mind that. If you want to go on the other side, like I said, plus 124 is the money line. Minus 1.5 is plus 132. I'm not doing any props, not for these crazy Europe games or like Ireland games. I'm not getting crazy with that stuff. But I like Pittsburgh to win this game. What do you got?
I'm going the other way. I'm going the Vikings.
Okay.
Winning this one. I think Brian Flores is going to make Aaron Rodgers' life miserable today, or on Saturday or Sunday. I just think that he's going to force him to move. He's going to force him to get rid of the ball quickly, and one of those times, or maybe even two of those times, he's going to get rid of it quicker than he maybe would have liked, and he may throw one to the other team. So based on that, I think turnovers are going to play a part in this game, and I think the Vikings are going to be able to pull it out. In a very random prop pick, I think because Rodgers is going to be running for his life, he may hit the over on his rushing yards. I don't know how high it's going to be because it's
Wow.
Rodgers, but
Okay.
I think Flores is going to force him out of the pocket, and he may take some cheap yards, just to avoid throwing a pick.
Love it. I love that.
Random, right? I know.
Yeah, I love that very, very much. All right, moving on. Philadelphia in Tampa Bay, minus 3.5 for the Eagles in Tampa Bay. Money line minus 190. Tampa Bay plus 160. Over is 44.5 at minus 102. And the under is minus 120. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this game. I mean, listen, as an Eagles fan, you can call it what it is. I have seen the Bucks. The Eagles can't beat the Bucks. At least not like comfortably over the last couple seasons. I just and I shouldn't say it like that. It's not that I think that the Eagles will necessarily lose this game. I just think if there's any team in the last 2 years that has the formula to beat this team, especially early in the season, it is the Bucks. I don't know. I'm assuming Mike Evans is not playing this week. I should know that as a fact.
I don't think so. I doubt it.
Yeah. Now, what concerns me as an Eagles fan, or not an Eagles fan, but on the Eagles side of this, what concerns me is I know that Mike Evans is out. I'm not super pumped still on the defensive backfield. Still concerns me to a certain extent. You got some players, but there's still some weaknesses back there. From a rushing game standpoint, the Eagles look vulnerable right now. And I want to pull this up just so I got this correct. I know for as far as the whole season goes, on Sunday against the Rams, Williams 94 yards, Corum 53 yards. That's pretty decent yards against this team.
Yeah.
I love I have seen defensive. My apologies. Are you there?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. My apologies. My Wi-Fi loves to do this and just cut out for no reason. I'm the stats here with regards to the Eagles defense when it comes to running being ran against. Um but my point is that I think that on the Eagles this week, I'm curious to know your thoughts because I like what I saw from the Eagles. I I want to take that -3.5. I think that the Eagles are solidifying themselves as the best team in this conference. I do think the Lions have something to say about that. Um, but the way that offense clicked in the second half just reminds me of how strong, how loaded this team is. I think they can beat the Bucks, absolutely. But history over the last couple of years would tell me to take the Bucks +3.5. What do you got for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Bucks 3.5, honestly. I just love that they're finding ways to win. They could have not their best game. I think they'll even tell you that they probably haven't played their most complete game of the season yet, but they're still finding ways to win, and that's a sign of a good team. A sign of a good team is when you're still finding ways to win, even if you're not playing at your best. Probably without Evans, and if they have Chris Godwin, they probably have him on a pitch count, so probably shouldn't be depending too much on him. Um, but I think in terms of that, I think he'll try to go to Kate Otten a little bit more at the tight end position. Probably use the backside of the backfield. And then he still has Emeka, and Emeka's killing it right now. He's playing way above his age right now as far as his football IQ, his getting open,
Big
his
time. Yeah,
understanding
I
of the
agree.
game. And I think it's good enough to at least if they lose by a field goal, right? That run defense, I did find it for you. They are 23rd in the league against the rush.
Yeah.
So they are
And it looks
vulnerable
that
there.
way. It looks that way
Yeah,
when you're
they are
watching the
vulnerable
games.
there. Yeah, and so they have two backs that can really get it in Rashad White and Bucky Irving. So I think they'll use that combination to kind of like mitigate their weapons as far as their pass catchers with the injuries they got going on. And I think it'll be close. So close that I'm taking the under in this game. The under is at 44.5 is where I saw it. Um I think we're looking at a 2017 game or a 23-20 game here. Um just with the struggles that I'm seeing the Eagles on offense, and they just turn it on in one quarter. I think um, I think it's going to be enough for them to kind of like just be flirting with the early 20s. I don't think it's going to be enough to where I don't think either team scores 30 in this game. Put it that way.
Yeah, the only thing that I would push back on that is just like I know against the Cowboys, it was 24 points for the Eagles. Now, that Cowboys game with the rain delay and the storm delay, I don't really trust what I saw in that game as far as the second half goes. I think it was all bizarre. Um, I know that they scored 20 points against the Chiefs. That was a not very fluid game. But last week, what we saw, I just feel like if the Bucks are going to cover the spread, whether they win or lose, if they're going to cover the spread, I think that both teams. Like it wouldn't surprise me if this is 24-21 or 27-24. I think it goes over, like just over. I think the Eagles kind of found something last week. Not that they're all of a sudden going to go out and score 35 points, but I think they found enough to kind of keep the score for both teams in the mid-20s. So I am going to take the over in this game. And I still think I like the Eagles -3.5, but the over is actually my favorite bet for this game. All right, moving on. The Indianapolis Colts and the Los Angeles Rams. This is your next game. Joe, this is your next game. I am just finding, I'm all over the place now. Wow, they already have the Raiders and the Colts line for next week. That's insane.
They know
all
what
right.
those teams are, apparently.
Yeah, that's crazy. Plus 152 for the Colts on the money line, minus 180 for the Rams on the money line, plus 3.5 for the Colts, minus 112, minus 108 for minus 3.5 for the Rams. Over 49.5 at minus 112, and the under is minus 108. What do you got, Colts, Rams? This is your game. Set it up. What do you got?
I got the Colts plus 3.5, and I have it for the same reason that I have the Bucks plus 3.5. I love the way I love what I'm seeing from the team, but I don't love them enough to win the football game. So I'm hedging my bet by saying, hey, I think they're good enough to lose by a field goal. I love everything about the Colts right now. The thing I'm worried about is I think they're going to try to make Daniel Jones win the football game, and I think in doing so, they're going to hard sell on taking Jonathan Taylor out of this game. So my prop bet on this game is the under on Jonathan Taylor's yards. I think it's set at 92.5. I think he comes in underneath that. And I'm using last week as kind of like a test for that because they held Barkley pretty low. And he's arguably the best bag in the league right now. So I think cooking off of that, I think they're gonna try to utilize a similar strategy here. Especially when kind of their offense is not that dissimilar in the sense that they have a mobile quarterback who can cause you to look at him as opposed to a running back. I mean, Steichen did coordinate for the Eagles. I don't think the offense looks that dissimilar in the sense of Jones utilizing his legs if he needs to. But the focal point of that offense is going to be Taylor. He's going to make everything else go. And I think because of that, the Rams are going to force Daniel Jones to win the game. And I think he's got to miss once. And maybe it's not enough this week, but I like them enough to cover. So I'm choosing them to cover.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like the Rams, like in order for it's kind of once again, just like you said, for me, it's the same logic that I took the over for the Eagles and Bucks. It's the same kind of logic to take the over here. Now, 49.5 points is a decent amount of points, but I think that the Rams can score points. 33 against the Titans, albeit the Titans 26 points against the Eagles, plus 2 missed field goals in there, right? Like, or not missed, blocked field goals. I think the Rams are going to score points. I don't mind the Chargers or Colts defense here. I don't mind it. I think the Rams will probably score points. And I like what I'm seeing from this Colts offense. I am taking that over. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I am with you on that Indy plus 3.5. My concern on taking that bet, however, is what you just said about they're going to sell out to stop the run, to stop Jonathan Taylor. What bothers me about that is I said when we were talking about the Colts in the previous segment, what concerns me about that is I really think that the evenness, Danny Jones throwing 22 to 26 passes, Jonathan Taylor getting 95, 110 yards. I think that's really important. Like for this offense to run well, I really think that Taylor not needs to be the guy, but they need to be pushing and pulling together. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
if the Rams do succeed in stopping Taylor, I think that's a problem. And I'm not saying they're going to get blown out or anything like that. But I do think that becomes an issue now.
Okay.
Plus 3.5 for the Colts is minus 115. Plus 4.5 is minus 132. Plus 5.5 is minus 148. Now, again, you're paying a bit of juice, but I don't mind that. Kind of getting in a couple extra points to keep the game close, because I think the Colts can win this game. Like I don't think it's that
1000%. Yeah.
unreasonable that the Colts can win this game, but I like getting a couple extra points, plus 5.5. Like I said, minus 148, or plus 4.5 at minus 132. All right, let's keep trucking along here, pushing 2 hours. As always, thank you everybody for spending your evening with us. We will get you set. We'll let you turn off your phone or your laptop and you can watch some football. We're just about done here. 2 games left to get to. Baltimore in Kansas City. I find this game fascinating. Would love to know what you think about. Are you still with me, by the way?
Yep. Still with you.
You're there? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Baltimore, minus 2.5, minus 118. Chiefs plus 2.5, minus 104. Minus 148 on the money line for the Ravens, plus 126 for the Chiefs. Over 48.5, minus 115. The under is minus 105. As much as I joke around about how I don't like these front-loaded schedules and all these big games at the beginning of the year, and I know we're a bit deeper now, week 4. It's amazing to me how important these early games have been, specifically from now. For the Chiefs, it was against the Chargers where they lose that first game, right? Now they're 1-2. Chargers are 3-0. That first game becomes very crucial as far as the tiebreakers and whatever. On the Ravens side of it, not from a divisional standpoint, but from a conference standpoint, you lose to the Buffalo Bills in a fashion that you should not have lost that football game.
Right.
And you do. Now you're 1-2. You're taking on the Chiefs, who are 1-2. One of these 2 teams is going to be 1-3 by the time we go to bed on Sunday night, or by the time the Packers and the Cowboys play on Sunday night. This is a fascinating game to me, not even so much as the game itself, but the consequences of what this game, the consequences could be really important in 2.5 months from now. I do not feel comfortable taking the Ravens in a favorite spot against Mahomes Reed. on the road like dogs. However, I really don't trust this offense for the Chiefs right now at all. I do not like what I'm seeing in any way, shape, or form. However, the Ravens defense is awful right now. Like against good opponents, you gave up 41 to the Bills, 38 to the Lions. That's awful. However, their offense against good teams has been terrific. So all of these howevers, I know that this is my game and I picked this game, but I more needed it as like a therapy session to bounce this off of you because I have no idea where to go in this game. I feel like it should be the Ravens. Like I feel like that's the smart pick here. But it's just crazy to me. This game makes my head explode. Talk to me. What do you got?
At the beginning of the week, I was feeling maybe the Ravens at the beginning of the week. Then I've been talking to my friend Andrew all week. Shout out to the football group chat. And Andrew has been doing nothing but crapping all over the Ravens every week. There's a new post like once every 3 hours of how disappointing one facet of the Ravens team is, and he puts it in the group chat. And I messaged him. I was like, "Man, you're over here with your first world problems with the Ravens, and the rest of the group chat are Giants and Jets fans. Like, we wish we had some of the problems that you guys had. We wish." We could never. And so based on that, by the time Thursday hit, I'm on the Chiefs. I'm on the Chiefs.
So
I saw the last like that last drive against the Giants for the Chiefs, them finally getting that Mahomes to Thornton hookup. I was like, wait a minute. What if they found something with this kid? What if him and Taekwondo have figured it out? And now that's going to be their deep ball threat. And then they could be getting Worthy back, full participant in practice. So now you potentially have 2 deep threats when you didn't really have any for like the first 3 games until they kind of figured it out. That defense is so leaky. So leaky. And they have 0 pass rush, which means Mahomes is going to have time to throw the deep ball. So I think they use the deep ball to open up some lanes to run because they got nothing but plotters back there. Me personally, I think they would. I wish they would use Brashard Smith more because Brashard Smith is the speedy of the 3 backs and he's a little bit shiftier. And I think if you gave him like maybe 5 or 6 carries a game, he might be able to break one. But Reed thinks he's too small to give him too much of a role. Somebody free Keaton Mitchell from the Ravens, please. Send him to the Chiefs. Do what the Bills do and just keep feeding them ways to beat them in the championship game. But I digress. But Keaton Mitchell on the Chiefs offense would be pretty amazing. I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, I there's no way that you can convince me the Ravens can win this football game with what I've seen from them defensively through the balance of the year. Now, that being said, Henry's going to run angry. He's dropped the ball one too many times for his liking, and the anytime touchdown is calling my name. So I'm going to put down for the anytime touchdown on Derrick Henry, but I still think they lose the game.
Yeah, maybe this is the week of the totals for me, I guess. I really like the under here. I think that the Chiefs are the best defense that the Ravens have seen so far. I know the Lions have a good defense, but the way that the Chiefs... Okay, let me rephrase that. I think the Chiefs defense has been playing the best so far this season compared to the defenses that they've played. Obviously, the Browns are an incredible defense, but you can only hold water for so long before your head just explodes. And that's what happened against the Browns. I think that it's going to be a slugfest, which is what happens right now. And I don't mean slugfest as far as, touchdown for touchdown. I think it's going to be a grind. I think similar to what we saw from the Eagles Chiefs a couple weeks ago, I think that's kind of similar to what we're going to see. Just both teams kind of grinding it out. I can see this going under the 48.5 with ease. And it's not quite plus money, but it is minus 105, while the over is minus 115. So it's closer to plus money than the over is. I really like this under a lot. And you know what? I think I needed this therapy session, man. I think you sold me on the Chiefs. With the plus 126 money line, I like it. Plus 2.5 is minus 104. I like that as well. I just
anything under 3, I usually just take the money line at that point.
I
are you
agree
gonna
with
let a field goal beat you?
Yeah,
you might as well just take them.
I agree with you. I think why I like this under as well is like I like the Chiefs defense. I think they're going to play well against Baltimore. Mahomes is the running game for the Chiefs right now. Like, they can't get any other guys going. And I don't like that at all. I also think, like, listen, I'm not here for the Kelsey's washed conversation or whatever. He's still one of the best tight ends to do it. And as the season goes on, this is not the first time that we've seen.
Yeah, slow start for him.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that. However, it's weird right now. Even though it's not the first time, I might not be worried long term, but it's still weird right now. He's screaming a lot. He's dropping a lot, not playing like the sound football that we know him to play. This is why, again, I prefer to take the under, because I don't really trust what's going on with that offense right now. And I really like the Chiefs defense. I'm taking the under. Jordan, what's up, bro? It's been a couple weeks. Haven't seen you. I'm happy. Happy to see your name pop up in the chat, man. It's been a few weeks. Yeah, good to see you. Must be the wedding plans. Yeah, that's what my father-in-law is a big football guy, and he always says, like, too much Taylor, too much Swift. Too much Swift. Don't know what's going on with this guy. But all right, let's wrap up the show. We've been talking for so long. And still the view numbers are going up, not going down. So appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. And yes, Jordan, while the MLB postseason setting up, thank you for reminding me. I will do this quickly now. Starting next week before the postseason, the MLB show on the S.O.S Podcast Network will be kicking off. Me and my guy Tom, you may have seen me with Tom in earlier editions of this podcast, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. We're going to be doing that. I don't know. Maybe Joe will come on. You know some baseball. Maybe you'll come on.
I just might.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll see what's up. So stay tuned for that. Also, the NHL show, we did do an episode a couple weeks ago. We will be kicking into high gear. Season starts next week, next Saturday, I think, next weekend. I think I could be a little off on that. But tomorrow we are doing 2 days for or a 2 a day for season previews. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we will be previewing the Metro Division. 8 o'clock or 7:30 in the evening, we will be previewing the Pacific Division tomorrow. And then next week, we'll be doing the Central and the Atlantic to get ready for the NHL season. So I'll just Sorry, Jordan. Yeah, maybe we'll have you on too, man. That's not my intention at all. Maybe we'll have you on as well. We'll be in touch, bro. I did not mean that to be offensive. You know I love you, bro. I got all the time in the world for you. So yeah, we will be in touch for sure. All right. Last game of the night. The Green Bay Packers in Dallas, -6.5, -330 on the money line, -120 on the point spread. +6.5 is -102 for the Cowboys, +265 for the money line. Over 47.5, -110. Under 47.5 is the same. This to me has all the makings of Packers, 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 and the Cowboys surprised us with a close game. I don't like the Cowboys. I think their defense is awful. I think their offense is fine. Like no CD Lamb is a big deal, but they still have some players. I think Dak's been playing pretty well, all things considered. I want nothing like to do with Cowboys praise, but I think this offense, like I thought their running game was going to be shot. It's actually been pretty good. Like Williams has been all right. It's been
Yeah,
okay.
that was
Like they
actually a pleasant surprise, to be
Yeah,
honest.
man. Yeah, man. They've been running the ball. Obviously, once again, no CD Lamb's a big deal. Um, their defense is a gong show. Like I don't if the Packers and again, only scoring 13 or only scoring 10 points against the Browns is not the end of the world. Leading the game 10-0 with like 3 minutes left and losing, that is the end of the world. But this Cowboys defense is awful. And of course, ta-da, it's the Micah Parsons show. This is what this is all about. Micah Parsons, Kenny Clark, reunited, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why this feels like a trap. Like this feels like you're stupid if you don't take the Packers. And I don't know if I can really put my real hard-earned money. I don't think I can look my wife in the eye and say, we have less money for diapers and formula because I put money on the Cowboys. I don't know if I can do that. However, it feels like a trap. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe take the -6.5 and call it a day. But this feels like it's gonna be a game. I don't know.
Well, I mean, one thing that does work in the Cowboys' favor is that Zach Tom is doubtful to play this weekend, who's the right tackle for Green Bay. So there's an opportunity there on
Yeah.
on that side of the line to execute a pass rush, whether that be Fowler. Um, I listen, they're last in the league against the pass, and granted, we know a majority of that was Russell Wilson. Um, but if Russell Wilson can do that to you, you probably are last in the league in passing. Let's just be real about it. Um, you deserve
Yeah.
to be ranked last against the pass on defense if that is the case. Um, so my lean going into the game, or going into to the show was Cowboys +6.5. For the same reasons that you articulated. It feels like it should be a 3 touchdown win for the Packers, which is why I feel like it shouldn't be that much. Um, I listen. They don't have Jaden Reed on top of that too, which is I think he's more of a Swiss Army knife to me than a number one wide receiver, me
I agree.
personally.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I still think he's their most talented receiver in the lineup. Golden's obviously the fastest, but I think Reed is the most talented. So not having him could also kind of like dim the sails a little bit. Um, I'm gonna stick to Cowboys plus 6.5. I think they'll 2 field goals, maybe a field goal. I think they'll keep it competitive. But being that their weakness is against the pass, my prop pick is Love's over on the passing attempts. I think 27.5 is an easy call for me. If their weakness is against the pass, then attack the weakness.
Yep.
I think he gets at minimum 30 attempts in this game. And with the way they've been getting cooked in pass defense, he probably hits 22, 23 of those attempts. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it'll be a shootout, but I think they will do enough to be within a touchdown.
And for the same reason, I have 2 long shot bets that I really like. And the one with the longer odds is actually the one I like the most.
Ooh.
So 2+ touchdowns. This is just it's a long shot.
Okay.
Play accordingly. What you said about like the passing defense being the weakness, Romeo Dobbs plus 1400 for 2 touchdowns. Kind of
Wait.
tempting. Tucker Kraft, who is having a really kind of breakout season last week, notwithstanding, plus 2,000. So with Reed not being there, the options are kind of limited. Maybe they pick on a
Valid.
certain guy. I like a 2 touchdown play here. If Tucker Kraft plus 2,000, Romeo Dobbs plus 1,400. If you bet both of them separately and one of them hits, you're laughing. I don't mind it at all. Now Josh Jacobs 2+ touchdowns is plus 220. So you can see the differences in
Yeah.
odds there. But honestly,
Yeah.
man, that's how I'm going to be playing this game. Just
Okay.
like, a little bit of money, some nice kind of long shot prop bets. I want to take the Cowboys plus 6.5 with you. But again, my wife knows how much I hate the Cowboys. And if she knows that we can't put gas in my car because I bet on the Cowboys, it's just not
That's
it's not
valid.
going to be a
That's a
friendly
valid.
conversation. All right, man. So let's get right down to it. Once again, I know we've been going on forever, but you guys have been awesome hanging out with me and Joe, and I really, really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. So let's move on really quickly so these good people can watch the rest of the football game. Best bets brought to you by First Round Collectibles. Promo code SPORTS10 for 10% off your order on regular priced and sales priced items. Trust me, people, please. First Round Collectibles. My guy Chris does a great job with the store. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. And Total Apex Sports, Total Apex and Total Apex Media. Check them out. Health, fitness, pop culture, video games. You think it's just sports? It's not. They got everything. Plus, of course, sports, betting, fantasy, the whole deal. Total Apex Media. We appreciate them very, very much. Joe, what is your best bet for week 4 in the NFL? And you can't say Seahawks. That's cheating.
Yeah, you know what? I'm Chiefs money line. Chiefs money line.
Oh,
Listen,
your favorite? That's your
listen.
best bet?
I have a
Wow.
hardcore, and shout out to Jordan because he's one of the members of the group chat. Um, I've just heard a Ravens fan the whole week just piss all over his team. He sounds like a guy who's rooting for a team that's 0-3 and is absent of any hope. And when a diehard like that is just telling you how bad the Ravens are to him, how do I bet? How do I bet for them in the week that's
Dude,
upcoming?
that's
I
so
can't do it.
funny.
I just can't do it. So give me the Chiefs as the best bet.
That's so funny. I love that so much. All right. That's so funny. Um all right, man. I. Yeah, it's a trickier week than you might think. I really do, man.
I really wanted to say the Colts. I really did. I really did. I just
Dude,
don't
that's the
believe it as
thing.
much as I believe the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? We didn't even talk about this game at all. We didn't even
Okay.
talk about these two teams at all. And
Hit
we
me.
could have the New England Patriots. They turned the ball over 5 times on the weekend. Should have beat Pittsburgh easily. 2 of those, I think it was only 2, maybe it was more. I think 2 of those turnovers were in the red zone, like at the goal line, basically. Should have won that football
Can't do
game.
that.
The Panthers, on the other hand, demolished the Atlanta Falcons, who are now dead to me.
Dead to me too, mind you.
Yeah.
It's the second time I roll with the Falcons and they
Oh,
disappointed me.
yeah, dude. I'm going to regret this. I know it. But plus 5.5 for the Panthers. Minus 110. I think that this Patriots offense or defense is pretty good, pretty solid. But I think this is a close game. And I feel like, I don't know. I already feel like I'm gonna hate this, but
Carolina plus the points.
I'm taking Carolina plus the points.
Oh.
Not only are the Falcons dead to me, but I'm taking a chance. My guy, Bryce Young, always been my guy. Never doubted, not for a minute. Always believed in him, which is not true.
I'm like, oh yeah?
But I'm going Carolina plus the points. I don't know, man. I just feel like Carolina played a really professional game on the weekend, and I think the Patriots puked on themselves a lot. And I just think, I don't know, man. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see, like, the Patriots, no matter what, with Drake May and the pieces that they have, they gotta start using Henderson more in the backfield. That's ridiculous that he's not running the ball more. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
And
especially when the other two are dropping the ball on the ground.
Yeah, dude, I just don't know. I like Mike Vrabel, but it's a new coaching staff. I think they're still figuring it out. And the Panthers were not an abomination in the back half of the season last year. And maybe they needed a few games to kind of knock the rust off. But I don't know. Here we are. Plus 5.5 for you're taking money line Chiefs, right?
Money line. Yep.
So Chiefs on the money line, Panthers plus the points is plus 331. So there it is. Once again, everybody, it's hilarious to me. And this just shows you, I can't even blame you, dude. I just talk my face off. I got to clean it up a little bit. But it's hilarious to me that every single divisional preview was minimum hour 45. And we could not get through this show in less than 2.5 hours. So everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. Once again, promo code sports10, firstroundcollectibles.com. Check them out. You won't regret it. Total Apex Media, Total Apex Sports. Thank you guys so much, as always, for having us. Also, tomorrow, 1:00 p.m., the NHL show is back with a Metro Division preview, talking about your Rangers. We'll see how we feel.
In.
7:30 p.m. talking about the Pacific Division. So please tune in. I got 2 writers from the Hockey Writers that I write for. Writers who will be joining me for those shows. So thank you guys once again, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate you. All right, one last thing. What does Jordan have to say for himself here? Oh, LOL. Nothing crazy. I thought it'd be I thought it would hit a bit harder. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. Until then, have a great week. see you next time while I find my slides. All right. See you next time.